We are the North. We are the West.
The Kansas City Royals have been dealt a bad hand against the Rangers. For 3 seasons, the Rangers have held the trump card.
And this one is over. The Rangers sweep.
And their chips have been stacked high.
And the Rangers walk it off.
Now, these two teams re-up the ante, and the Rangers are seeking a royal flush.
The Rangers with an opportunity to sweep Kansas City this evening and get out of town with 3 more wins. Currently, the longest winning streak in Major League Baseball. The Rangers have won 4 straight games. Welcome into Kauffman Stadium, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. The Rangers right now on fire. They've been hitting the ball. They've been pitching well. They've been doing everything right these days. And maybe most importantly, they've been facing the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City's lost 8 in a row. They've won just 2 games in the entire month of June, and they have been like the favorite opponent of the Rangers now for quite some time.
Well, they certainly have, and there's something to be said for that. Going up against an opponent that you just do well against over the course of the last couple of seasons. And look at these 19 games, the last of them against the Kansas City Royals. 16-3 record. The runs per game really good. The home runs, the ERA though really is what sticks out for me, is that Ranger pitching has been very good against this Royals lineup over the last 19, and so that's always encouraging when you got that opponent.
All right, well, it's going to be some fun stuff in the broadcast tonight. We're going to see some very interesting things, not the least of which, of course, is one of our all-time favorites, Austin Bibbins-Dirks, making another start.
Always love when ABD is on the mound and he gets another opportunity here with the Rangers, and such an interesting guy. Of course, we know about his story and getting to the big leagues late. The journey's been incredible, but watching him pitch, he really is a pitcher's pitcher, if that makes sense, where he doesn't overpower you necessarily. He uses a full repertoire. This will be his 2nd start against the Royals this season. He actually threw really well. Don't let the 4 earned runs fool you. He threw really well through those 6 innings, let a couple of more going back out in the 7th. So for ABD, another opportunity with Texas.
Made his first start this year against Kansas City. Makes another start tonight. Now the other side of it is his battery mate tonight. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. We've used him all over the diamond. Today at catcher. He's in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Just about set to go tonight. Rangers and Royals, final game in this 3-game series here in Kansas City. Final game of the season series between these two clubs. We were talking about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa when we went to break. We put him in our Shiner Box spotlight tonight for, well, a number of reasons, but let's start with the fact that he has been so versatile for the Rangers this year. The Rangers have been able to use Kiner all over the infield, third base primarily with Beltre out, but he's played 20 games at shortstop, or rather at second base, 2 at shortstop. Today, a little different material there. He's got the helmet going. He's going to be behind the plate. But CJ, he's been good anywhere they put him.
He certainly has. His hands have been unbelievably impressive, and I think he's done some of his best work at third base. Of course, that is a reactionary position, and Isaiah has shown up in the highlight reel pretty often and has been fun to watch. We've seen him, of course, in the middle of the infield. You see him turning a double play there, and you see him at second taking one himself. He's done a really good job all the way around defensively. It really has been a lot of fun to watch. Isaiah, very solid in everything he does. And so the really good hands make you wonder about how that translates behind the plate. And for a little bit more on the catcher position, let's throw it down to Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, Isaiah grew up actually playing shortstop. He did not catch his first game until Double-A, and that was only because he wanted to find a way to get into the lineup. Well, it worked, and then he has worked really hard the last couple of years to show people that he can be a utility player that can also catch. So he was very excited, and he said very honestly a little bit nervous about tonight because he has worked hard, and he said it's finally paying off. But guys, he's done this before. Over the last couple of years, he's caught a total of 69 games. So this is nothing new to him. He caught 33 games in 2016, 33 in 17, and then 3 earlier this year. It also helps that he knows Austin Bibbins-Dirks personally and has caught for him before in the minors and spring training. So they will team up tonight, the first hyphenated battery mates. The Rangers also looking for their 5th straight win before heading on to Minnesota. We'll have more next.
These two men have gone to new heights with launch angle,
Stockis drives one to right field.
accelerated the speed of exit velocity,
Out to right field and
and traveled to distant places with a simple swing of the bat.
way up there. Holy smokes, Joey Gallo.
Now, the beauty of their left-handed swings is on display together.
Yeah, both left-handed sluggers in the lineups tonight for these two teams. The final game in this three-game series here in Kansas City. And it's time for us to take a look at our Southwest starting lineup for the Rangers. 32 wins, 46 losses, and right now, the hottest team in baseball. Longest winning streak in the bigs with 4 in a row. So Shin-Chu Chu will lead it off. Elvis Andrus bats second. Mazzara in right field bats third. Beltre's the DH today batting cleanup. Profar at third. Odor back in there at second base. Gallo at first. Kiner Falefa doing the catching. Carlos Tocci in center field.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the opposing pitcher in the arsenal. It's Jacob Junis that's going tonight for the Kansas City Royals, and you're going to see lots of sliders 34% of the time. You'll also see the 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam fastball, the curveball and changeup a little bit here and there, but really is all about the slider for the right-hander here with the Royals.
So he's ready to go, and he gets us started tonight with a pitch a little bit high for ball one. Well, they're expecting heavy rains all day today here in Kansas City, and we never got them.
I kind of forgot all about that.
Hard ground ball, that one through into right field, base hit for Chu. And so before you can even mention it, he has now reached base safely in 34 straight games. Also extends his hitting streak to 5 in a row.
A really good job by Chu. We talked about how well he is seeing the baseball right now and the way that his at-bats have gone some deeper in the count. Sometimes he's jumping on the first strike that he sees. He's had a lot of success going after first pitches just in general, but first strike is a good one for him, and Chu leading things off. He started right away here for the Rangers.
Elvis Andrus takes one for a strike. Elvis hitting an even 300 coming into play today. Had a hit yesterday. His first hit since coming back off the disabled list. He's played in the first 2 games of this series, 1 for 8 with a couple of walks. One and one. So Chu, longest on base streak in his career at 34 games, and the longest active streak right now in baseball. Second longest of the year. Odubel Herrera went 40 straight earlier this year. He's going. The pitch is up and in. The throw way off line, and Chu has a stolen base. His 3rd of the year.
And this wasn't even close. What a tremendous jump by Chu. And for Junis, I don't know if he just kind of forgot about Chu. He only allowed 2 stolen bases this year. Boy, take a look at this jump. Really good one. As you see, Salvador Perez trying to throw from his knees, knowing that was probably the only chance he was going to have. And that was a hit and run. I did not realize that Elvis swung at that. I thought he was trying to get out of the way. That was actually a swing.
Well, that's commitment to the play, which you're supposed to, but that's a little bit crazy, no?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a couple things. First of all, I mean, you swing at it no matter what. You have to be a pretty special hitter to feel confident enough that your guy has got that base stolen, because you're not trying to steal the base in those spots. Yes, you're running, but you're not necessarily thinking about trying to get your best jump. Elvis knew, though, that you have to swing at it, and he was probably a little bit unsure. He was going to play it safe and make sure he swung at that pitch no matter what.
All right, but isn't there a line?
Well, if the ball's over your head, you know it's going to go to the screen, sure. If the ball is going to hit the grass. I mean, here's the thing. You're just taught that as a professional from the very beginning, that under no circumstances do you not swing. Like, that's what you're taught, and you get aired out the first time. Maybe you do it or forget or miss a sign, and then you don't like that feeling. And so you swing every time no matter what. Like I said, unless the ball is just headed for the backstop in the air.
That was a little bit of crazy town right there, because that one was almost in his choppers.
That was wild. I didn't even realize he swung. I was watching Chu. I thought Elvis was just trying to get out of the way, which he was, while he also swung at it.
Like swatting at flies. Takes one off the plate. 2-2. So here it is again. It was an errant. That is a crazy swing.
That is commitment. That's commitment.
Man.
He knows the rules.
Okay.
Got to swing at it no matter what. Poor Elvis. I mean, a couple of balls up and in some fastballs. Now that slider to have to deal with.
Wow, with this high chopper back to the mound, Junis going to have to let go of his best fastball of the night to get Andrews, and he does. One away, but Chu now is at third.
Well, it's a productive at bat for Elvis. I guess you could say maybe he protected the runner with that swing and allowed Chu to steal second base, and then he does a good job of at least getting him over. It was a strange at bat, but one that ended positively here for Elvis Andrews, and he made this play pretty close. That's incredible how high that ball bounced.
Now a man 90 feet away for Nomar Mazara. And we've spent a lot of time lately talking about some of the hot hitters for the Rangers, and some of them sneaking up on us just a little bit. Nomar right now really locked in. Hits this ball high in the air out to right field. Going to hang up a little bit. Merrifield will give way to the center fielder Herrera, but it's deep enough to get Chu to the plate. And the Rangers score the first run tonight on the Mazara sac fly. It's 1-0.
It's a good job by the Rangers. A little small ball. We know this team can slug a little bit, but doing the little things, putting the ball in play, that is why it is so important. First, a really good base hit by Chu, and then he gets to second base on, supposed to be hit and run. It's a stolen base when it's all said and done. Elvis puts the ball in play, gets him over, and then Nomar Mazara does a nice job of getting him in. Less than 2 outs. Do what you got to do to get that run. 32nd RBI on the season for Nomar Mazara with runners in scoring position. Second most on the team.
So the base is clear now for Adrian Beltre, whose average is at .312 at the moment. You see it's been a struggle in this series for him. Just 1 for 10. And this is a ballpark where Beltre has enjoyed a lot of success over the years. Junis gets him to hit this one on one hop to shortstop. Escobar fires across the diamond in time, and the inning is done. But the Rangers get the first run of the game tonight. Shin-Soo Choo extends that on-base streak to 34 straight, and it comes around to score on the sac fly. At the bottom of the first, here come the Kansas City Royals, 22-51. Their struggles continue, and they will send Whit Merrifield to lead it off in right field. Rosell Herrera, the center fielder. Mike Moustakas, the DH, bats third. Then it's Perez, Gordon, and Hunter Dozier, the first baseman. Ryan Goins at third. Escobar at short. And Alberto Mondesi, the second baseman, bats ninth. There's Austin Bibbins-Dirks making his third start of the year. 0-1, a .655 ERA. The first pitch popped up. Playable near first base for Gallo, who's waiting and gets it done, one away.
So now technically, does that mean that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa hasn't caught yet in the big leagues? Hasn't caught anything.
Right? I mean, it hasn't happened. we haven't connected the hyphens yet. Kiner-Falefa with the start behind the plate. Bibbins-Dirks out on the mound. Look, there have only been 3 players in Major League history to wear a hyphen in their last name. 2 of them making up tonight's battery. Somewhere Ryan Rowland-Smith's on the edge of his couch cushion watching on, and
probably a little teary-eyed.
Probably.
I would assume.
It's got to be a very emotional night for him. 1-0. And that one just misses.
So this is really going to be fun to watch. We were talking about Kiner-Falefa and how good he has been defensively in the field. I think especially at third base, he has been really impressive. And watching him now and working those hands behind the plate, and so far those couple of sinkers that were just off the plate, I thought he received pretty well.
Herrera lofts this one out to center field. Carlos Tocci has the start out there tonight, and there are 2 away.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Austin Bibbins-Dirks so far this season. 35% fastballs, 23% sliders. The changeup, the curveball, uses those quite a bit as well. And then the 2-seam fastball, just 6%. He's actually got some pretty good movement on his 4-seamer because of the arm angle. And so you'll see that ball tail away from lefties into righties. And sometimes that is a 4-seam fastball. Just 1 home run allowed so far for Austin in the 2 games that he's pitched here for the Rangers.
Well, Mike Moustakas takes one on the outside corner for a strike. Designated hitter, batting third tonight, .264 average. Just a couple of hits in this series. And lifts this one into short center. In fact, short enough that Elvis Andrus goes out from shortstop and tucks it away. How about that? A 6-pitch inning for Austin Bibbins-Dirks. We've played 1 tonight. Rangers lead at 1-0. And Gallo here in the second. Good to see Rangers fans here in attendance. In fact, we've seen them all 3 nights. Pretty well represented here. As this one lined out to right field, drops in, base hit for Jurickson Profar. Lead man on again. Profar continues to swing a very good bat. Now, just his 2nd hit in the series, but that hardly tells the story.
Now take a look at that swing pitch that was up from Junis, and a good job by Jurgensen to jump on the first fastball that you see for a strike. Junis has got a really good slider. He knows how to get swings and misses with that pitch. We saw it in the first inning. It was a little bit wild, but you could see the break. And so smart idea there for Jurgensen to get on that first fastball.
Rougned Odor has not played in this series and smashes this one into right field. That's a base hit. Profar digging hard, but will stop at second. Back-to-back singles in this second inning, and Jacob Junis giving up some loud contact early.
I love the approach here, and that's a nice job by Odor as well. As we're watching that pitch kind of up and in a little bit. We know Rugi can get to that pitch. He is quick. Even though he hasn't played in a couple days, you always worry about timing and how well a guy sees the ball. Well, obviously not an issue for Rougned Odor here. First at bat.
Well, we've been talking about this earlier today. We were talking the Rangers on the first pitch of an at bat last 30 days, best in baseball, hitting .467 on the first pitch.
I like it. I like the aggressiveness. We know the Rangers can struggle at times with the swing and miss, and the strikeouts can add up on them a little bit. And again, you look at the pitcher, you look at the opportunities. It's not just the first pitch, which is certainly interesting to see, but first strike and first fastball for a strike is something you want to see guys going after. And Junis running into a little bit of trouble all of a sudden has switched things up here and flips in a breaking ball to Joey Gallo.
Two and one to Gallo, who took yesterday off. A scheduled day off for Gallo, who has been mired in a bit of a slump. Average at 195 for the year, but 18 home runs, fifth most in the American League. Is this one foul out of play? Gallo had a base hit Saturday back home against Colorado. But since that base hit, had gone 0 for 10 with 7 strikeouts.
You know Joey's going to go through those streaks. It's going to happen when you have the big swing, the big power. Joey never wants to get away from the idea of trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Well, what comes with that? Some hot and cold streaks, and right now he's trying to work out of a cold streak.
Full count. Part of it will require him to be a little more patient. Last year when he went on such a long, really productive stretch, a great part of it was his ability to lay off close pitches, coax the opposing pitchers into giving him something decent that he could drive. This year lately, when things have gone bad, and it's always been the case with him, he gets a little aggressive. And there he takes ball 4, so a walk here might be a really good sign. It loads the bases in the second. A little more on what's going on with Joey Gallo. Let's check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, Dave, you don't know how close you were just with your analysis, because you were right on. He watched video after his last game with Justin Mayshore, and he said he likes his swing. It's just a timing thing, and the fact that sometimes he's he's hitting pitches that he shouldn't. He's swinging at pitches he shouldn't. He's late on them, or he's chasing them. And he said, you know, they're trying to find some ways to make it simple, but he said sometimes you just have a sophomore slump, and he's trying to work through that.
A little bouncer out there to second base turns into 2 outs. Profar scores, but Kiner Falefa rolls into the double play. 2-0 Rangers, but that takes a little bit of the steam out of this inning.
It does, and the idea of playing for the big inning when you have bases loaded, nobody out, you see the possibilities. At the same time, getting runs across the board for the Rangers right now, 1 in the first and now a second one here in the second. Getting out on top early is Isaiah Kiner Falefa got jammed on a pretty good fastball. That was in an easy double play.
Oh, now it's Odor at third base with 2 outs, and here is Tochi. Carlos takes very high. Carlos 2 for 26. Hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity. Of course, spent a long period of time on the disabled list. April 22nd through June 1st, had that bruised hip. And he lines this one over first, but foul. It's 1-1. Since coming back off the disabled list, Tochi has played in 4 games, 3 of them as a pinch runner. Has had just 1 plate appearance. He's 0 for 1. He's in a hole here, a ball and 2 strikes. Tochi acquired from the White Sox in a trade after he was selected from Philadelphia in Major League Baseball's Rule 5 draft back in December. And part of the stipulation when you have a Rule 5 player is that he must remain on your 25-man roster, your active roster, all year. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out to end this 2nd inning. So Rangers loaded the bases, but a double play and a strikeout ends it. After 1.5 though, they lead 2-0.
Two 2-0 lead here for the Rangers in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and we want to show you the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Methodist Health Systems. Chu, Tochi, and Mazzara in the outfield this evening for the Rangers, and it's Profar, Andrews, Odor, Joey Gallo at first, and as we mentioned, there he is, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, catching for the first time in the big leagues.
Well, he did a real nice job there in the 1st inning. Only 6 pitches needed by Austin Bibbins-Dirks. And Kiner-Falefa framed strike 1 there to Salvador Perez.
There's so many things to keep an eye on here with Isaiah behind the plate. We mentioned the receiving. We've talked to him about game calling, his approach there, definitely doing his homework, but his approach to it also about offering suggestions.
Whoa, how about that liner to 3rd base, snared by Profar, and Perez is the first out here in the 2nd inning. Man.
Nice job, Jerks and Profar. This ball was hit hard by Salvador Perez, and it wasn't even one step at a dive. It was just a straight dive and a good reaction from Jerkson as he goes full extension, and you see the ice cream cone there at the end of his glove. That's a good first out for Austin Bibbins-Dirks.
You see Profar looking into the dugout as a Rangers infield gets themselves aligned here with Alex Gordon at the plate. Left-handed hitter. And he hits this one hard by second. That one into right field for Gordon. So he is on the first hit and the first base runner tonight for Kansas City.
Both of these teams so far coming out hacking at first strikes that they see. And we'll see this pitch from Austin Bibbins-Dirks, and look like that might have been a changeup. See Alex Gordon lining that ball into right field. That was a fastball, 90 miles an hour. Had some good movement on it, though. But I was going to say, too, something to keep an eye on with Isaiah. Receiving and game calling and everything else, but also the way that he sets up. Pitchers will talk about that all the time. What does the catcher look like? Does he get low? Does he give a good target? Does he give it early enough? Does he give it too early, right? All those little things that you're looking for. I gotta tell you, so far for me, at least watching through the lens of a TV camera, looks like he gets down pretty well. Gets to the bottom of the strike zone. And the other part, which is interesting, and different pitchers will tell you different things, Salvador Perez as an example. Big catcher, kind of big target guy. We're going to watch Austin throw over to first here. Alex Gordon, he almost looked like he knew that was coming. He had almost no lead. But so take Salvador Perez. Some guys like seeing that big catcher, wide body, you know, looking at target. Some people like the smaller catcher, the one that gets down, makes himself look small. Brad Osmus is a guy that would come to mind as an example. Isaiah looks a little bit more like that to me, where he kind of gets small and gets that glove down pretty comfortably.
That one right on the corner for a strike to Hunter Dozier. 1-1 the count. Yeah, there's the size that target, but then you always hear too about catchers, some catchers being real quiet behind the plate.
Sure.
That presentation's a big deal, though, to you fussy pitchers sometimes, right? Breaking ball, and that one lifted out to center field. Tochi on the run, and he won't get to it. It bangs off the wall. Gordon into third base. He's being waved. The throw will go to third base, and Dozier is out by a mile. So Gordon scores easily on the double, but Tochi picks up his first outfield assist.
Well, this ball was hit pretty well. You see where Tochi was playing shaded to right field, which did not give him an opportunity to try to make a play on this ball. But he comes up, does a good job of hitting his cutoff man, and Elvis Andrus very alertly throws that ball to third base. He didn't feel like he was going to have a chance to be able to throw Alex Gordon out, and I got to believe Hunter Dozier, thinking that throw was going home, would have bought him an extra base. So nice job by the Rangers to pick up on that and execute the relay to get the out.
8-6-5 put out at third, and now with two away, the bases are empty for Ryan Goins, and he shows bunt but takes a strike. First start of the series for Goins. He gets the nod at third this evening. Moustakas, their everyday third baseman, taking a half day, if you will, as the DH. A little bit in on Goins. Goins had been playing a little more regularly prior to this series. He played in 4 of the previous 5 games for Kansas City, including 3 starts. So he was pretty much in there every day against Houston. But this has been a real tough stretch for Kansas City. They've lost 8 in a row. 14 of their last 15 games. And Yost just kind of searching for answers these days. Moving guys around a little bit. Shuffling his lineup. And yesterday, with the loss in the middle game of this series, it cemented this 2018 Royals team as the worst through 73 games of a season. So this is a tough start for Kansas City.
It is, and it's probably going to continue, as we've already seen them trade away Kelvin Herrera, their closer, who was throwing the ball extremely well. Would not be surprised to see Mike Moustakas potentially in a different uniform before the year is over. So this team will continue to get younger, give some guys some opportunities, and that rebuild, something they have been through before, is now in full effect.
Goins hits this one out to center field. Tochi well positioned, and that will do it in the bottom of the second inning. Royals get a run back, though, and we head to the third. Rangers lead it 2-1. order. Chin Chu Chu comes to the plate, our TXU Energy power player to watch, and his ranks in the month of June, he's 5th in the American League with 354 average, 16 walks most. His OPS over 1100. It has been some kind of run for Chu, who singled in the first inning, stole a base, and scored a run.
And not just for him, as you see what he has done, but what he's done with this team as well.
Bouncer second base, and a tough play for Mondesi, but they do get him. And Steve Michelle pointing into the dugout as if to say, no, take a look at this one.
Well, he was pointing in before the call was even made at first base, which made that even more interesting for me. Mike Estabrook didn't make the call. I think that Steve Michelle just assumed that he was going to call Chu out, and he wanted to point in and say, hey, take a look. That foot might have come off the bag, but it looks like the Rangers are not going to challenge this. See Chu hustling here, but a very nice play to retire him to start this inning. But I was going to say, one thing to keep hearing about with Chu is the influence on the other guys, right? The conversations that he is having right now. Oh, boy.
Way up in on Andrews, and he is plunked and will head to first base. But he's had a couple that have come real tight on him in this series, and he hasn't enjoyed any of it.
It's been one each night, some high-powered fastballs, and there was a breaking ball that he swung out on that hit and run that was up and in, and then this one got him. And June is trying to throw that slider, and listen, we know what happened with Elvis, and there was no intent. I don't think there's been any intent on the balls that we have seen this series, but I think once you go through one of those injuries and you miss that amount of time, all of a sudden you start seeing some balls up and in. It's frustrating because the conversation will often go to, listen, you get that guys have to pitch inside. But you certainly would like to believe that big league pitchers could have a little bit more command when they're doing that, and Elvis knows the downside of when they don't.
So Elvis on in front of Nomar Mazara. He'll draw a throw. Elvis, pretty good lead over there. See how aggressive he wants to be. I was talking with Elvis this offseason, and one of his primary goals for 2018 was to get back to being a premier base stealer, and he was talking about putting a number on it. He wanted to steal 40 bases again. But the DL stint really has hurt him in that regard. He has not yet stolen a base successfully. 0 for 1. We're just in the second week of the season when he got hurt and went to the DL and was just activated for this series. So sort of took him out of that. This one pulled foul by Mazara, and the count 1-1. Well, we were talking about Nomar the first time in, and how good he has been lately. 3 hits yesterday, was 3 for 5. He had 3 hits in the opener Monday night. He's 8 for his last 14, now with 5 RBIs. Pops this one up, third base side, foul ground, might be playable. Goins is there, and there are 2 away. Well, Carter Blood Care and the Texas Rangers are teaming up to save lives. Give on Monday, July 2nd from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Globe Life Park. You'll get a tour, t-shirts, and 2 Texas Rangers tickets. Sign up today. Go to carterbloodcare.org. And Elvis out at first. Beltre at the plate, 0 for 1.
Big swing at 93 miles an hour, and I mentioned that we've seen this so far from the Rangers, looking for early fastballs, taking some big hacks, trying to get that ball in play, because the Junis slider, although it's been a little bit off tonight, has been so good for him this season. Just a 149 batting average against that pitch. And you can see it, even though there's been a few out of the zone, it's got some really good bite to it when it's on. So you want to get to that fastball before he starts working that slider. There's a good one right there. And here's why. Junis, the swings and misses far and away from the slider. That is the pitch in which he generates his strikeouts. Look at this, 4th overall in Major League Baseball total strikeouts on sliders. There's some names there you certainly recognize. Luis Severino's got one of the better sliders in the game, but you might be surprised to see Junis right there ahead of Chris Sale.
Swing and a miss. The count of ball and 2 strikes on Beltre.
It's got good speed differential, right, compared to the fastball, and it's got really good downward break. It almost seems like that pitch, the rotation on it so tight, I mean, it slows down more than your average slider as it gets close to the plate.
Beltre swings and misses again. He strikes out. Second strikeout victim tonight for Junis. Only quiet top of the third. After 2.5, the Rangers lead it 2-1. All right, thanks, John. Third inning, bottom of the third here in Kansas City, and Austin Bibbins-Dirks has allowed 1 run so far on a couple of hits in the first 2 innings. Called up to make the start today was Yohander Mendez's spot in the rotation, but he was optioned out yesterday before the ball game. This pitch a little bit tight. Goes to 1-1.
A great opportunity for Austin. You know, you're sitting there in the minor leagues. You probably don't think about this very often, but those guys looking and watching what's going on at the big league level and wondering if or when that next opportunity will come. And every time that phone rings or the manager calls you in the office, it's a pretty exciting moment. Austin's been through it now a couple of times. Obviously, last year was the big one, and then getting the call a few weeks ago, and then again for this start. Got to experience that now multiple times.
And not to make light of the situation, Yohander Mendez optioned out, violation of team rules. 1-2 pitch, and this one down the right field line. Mazzara able to get over to it in time. 1 away. But you know, Mendez is missing a start tonight against Kansas City, and it's a start that Austin Bibbins-Dirks is getting. Of course, on the one hand, it's simply that it's just an opportunity to start a big league game. But on the other hand, you're talking about a Kansas City team that is struggling so badly, and part of it has been the offense. The Royals are hitting under 180 during this 8-game losing streak with just 3 home runs. And so for whomever gets the start, it's an opportunity to pitch against a team that, let's just say, is not the Yankees, is not the Astros.
Sure.
In 2018, it's a chance to maybe even, you know, put up slightly better numbers than you might otherwise.
No doubt. And big league hitters are still big league hitters regardless of the team. But yes, you'd rather face the team that's struggling a little bit. And in the case of Austin Bibbins-Dirks, 3rd start of the season, 2nd one against the Royals. And so that presents that little bit of a challenge. He threw well in that last game. It was 6 runs, 4 earned when it was all said and done. But I mentioned this in our open. A couple of those came in that 7th inning. He went back out. Had the confidence of his manager to try to go 1 more, and it cost him a couple of runs. Didn't quite work out for Austin, but he was pitching really well in that game. And so the idea of going up against a lineup for the 2nd time That's another opportunity to prove something to the organization. Because you would think, you look at a guy like Austin, not overpowering stuff, and you say, okay, well, if a hitter sees him too many times, would he be at an advantage? Would you see him get hit a little bit more? And that's something Austin has an opportunity to prove tonight, that that's not true, that he can hold this lineup down and pitch well against them a second time.
9th place hitter, Alberto Mondesi, the hitter. Started the opening game Monday, did not play yesterday, fouls this one back. And he will see a 5th pitch in this at bat, which means that he and Ryan Goins, first time through the order, will have seen the most pitches in an at bat against Austin Bibbins-Dirks. The Royals have been very quick verdicts for the most part this first time through. Goins saw 5 pitches before flying out in the 2nd inning, and now this will be the 5th pitch to Mondesi. And a ground ball, but that one is through into right field. A base hit from Mondesi, and the Royals have their 3rd hit of the night.
Well, you see Austin trying to elevate a little bit. That pitch actually closer to the knees, and Mondesi able to stay in, hit this ball pretty hard to the right side. It's still a ground ball, but he's able to get it through. But you can see on that replay what Kiner Falefa was looking for was an elevated fastball, probably going for the swing and miss, but they left it down and gave Mondesi a chance to get to it.
So now Whit Merrifield, their leadoff man, right fielder, popped up in the 1st inning. Oh, might have had Mondesi there leaning just a bit. Nearly got him.
Good timing here by Austin and good footwork. There it is. Yeah, you're right. He caught him maybe leaning a little bit.
Another pretty decent move over there.
Well, you have to assume that the Royals will at least be thinking about testing Isaiah Kiner Falefa. No stolen bases against Austin Bibbins-Dirks in his 2 starts here at the big league level this year, but they haven't seen Isaiah throw.
There's a strike.
Royals have 34 stolen bases this year. They've only been thrown out 11 times, so they've been efficient in what they have done. And I want to see Isaiah throw. I'm kind of looking forward to it a little bit.
We were talking to him the other day and about hitting a home run versus throwing out a base runner. I loved it. I said, yeah, throwing out a base runner, man.
Well, he did that first because when the first base runner he had thrown out, he hadn't hit a home run yet. And so he's like, I didn't know what it felt like. He's like, that was pretty awesome when it happened. He said, but once I hit the home run, that was a little better.
That's pretty cool.
Understandably so.
Honestly, with another decent lead, not going though, and it's fouled away. 0-2 on Merrifield. .290 average this year for Merrifield, and he is 4th in the American League with 22 doubles. Really good hitter. He's been a real pleasant, I don't want to say surprise, but development for the Royals the last couple of years. He's a guy who has spent 7 years in the minor leagues before getting his big league shot at the age 27 a couple of years ago. Another quick turn by Bibbins-Dirks.
I don't know if we'd necessarily see a runner go in an 0-2 count. Now, part of it is also trying to anticipate when Austin Bibbins-Dirks may go to an off-speed pitch, especially one down in the dirt. That could be an opportunity to go.
Another foul ball here by Merrifield.
And then what you see sometimes, and I never heard this before and kind of learned it from Jeff Bannister. We see the guys that will do those fake breaks. The Rangers would do that a little bit once in a while. Here's a situation where if they do think the Royals believe that a breaking ball is coming, instead of trying to steal the base, you actually get that fake break, and the idea is that you get the catcher to come up just a little bit because he's worried about that runner going, and if it's an off-speed pitch, breaking ball down, decent chance that he may miss that ball or bob it a little bit, and that gives you an opportunity to take the bag as well.
Seriously, good work. We haven't seen any casual toss over there.
No. None of the B moves, as we call them. Especially for lefties, they'll do that. But sometimes he'll give a move that looks like it doesn't do much of anything. But Austin has come at first base with these throws to Mondesi with everything he has.
There he goes. Mondesi on the run this time. The ball lofted out toward right field. Mazzara over, and he's got it. And Mondesi returns 2 away. I see Mondesi and Mitch Meyer, the new first base coach over there for Kansas City. Rusty Kuntz had been the first base coach here for a handful of years, and Rusty was the guy who really ran the running game. And they have been a little more conservative without Kuntz over there. Now, I mean, could well be too that they just feel like the personnel's a little bit different and they're less willing to take those chances. Herrera bounces this one down to first, and that is a fair ball. Or is it? No foul ball.
So first base umpire called it fair. Home plate umpire called it foul. Joey just kind of tapped into his inner catcher right there. He tried to frame that ball and bring it back into fair territory and try to make it look fair. You're going to get a good look at it right here. Watch the hop here. Watch Joey catch it inside and just try to make it look like a strike, or in this case, make it look like a fair ball. And you see over there first base, and Mike Estabrook was shaking his head yes.
He had 2 feet in bounds. That's a catch.
Trying to be sneaky, but he was overruled by Chad Fairchild, our home plate umpire tonight. Tremendous effort right there by Joey Galli.
That was great. All right, so Mondesi again with his lead. And the 1-strike pitch off the plate. 1-1 to Herrera. I'm glad you mentioned home plate umpire Chad Fairchild, because I thought this was interesting today. Banny made kind of an offhand mention about Fairchild being the umpire today, and that he kind of thought that was good for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. His first game back there behind the plate, be working with a good umpire. So I asked him afterwards, after everybody left, I said, why do you say that? What is it about Fairchild in particular that you think makes him better? So Mondesi got a great jump that time and is in there safely. The stolen base.
Well, this was kind of Falefa's first opportunity, and you see pretty good jump there by Mondesi. Good speed. I mean, that's part of it. It's just really, really quick, and a pitch off the plate and a long one hopper. And you know how badly Isaiah wanted that opportunity and how badly he wanted to deliver and throw a runner out, especially in that spot to end the inning. Pretty good throw, the one hopper, but I think he was pretty quick back there.
Mondesi now in scoring position. 2-1 on Herrera. Catches a corner. Anyway, about Fairchild, Banny said, well, there are some umpires in the league, especially maybe a little more veteran umpires, who can get kind of rigid in the way that they want things done, right?
Sure.
I love your reaction to that, because he kind of had to contain himself too when saying that. He said, Fairchild, he says he's a pretty flexible, understanding guy. He listens a little bit, and he's not that far removed from the minor leagues. That would work well with a young catcher. And there's a bouncer to first that ends the inning. Well, so far it's worked well for Kiner-Falefa, Chad Fairchild, and maybe more importantly, Austin Bibbins-Dirks. He's allowed 1 run so far through 3, and the Rangers lead by 1. 2-1 as we go to the 4th inning. And this Monday, June 25th, the Padres in town for the only time this season. And the first 15,000 fans to the ballgame are going to get a Rangers tumbler, courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. And you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Profar leading off this 4th inning for the Rangers. Singled in the 2nd inning and scored a run. First 3 Rangers got on base in that 2nd inning, in fact. Junis finds the corner there. It's 1-1. We mentioned when Profar had that base hit in the 2nd that it was just his 2nd hit of the series, but he's been striking the ball well. That one lifted to fairly deep left center, but a long out. Profar retired to start the 4th inning. And he told me before the ball game, he said, if I fly out, why don't you guys just take a moment and break the conversation for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
All right, so 1 away. Now Rougned Odor. Rugi had the base hit in the 2nd inning. Couple of days off for Odor. And not one of those situations where you'd say to yourself like, well, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, he could really use that, because he really had been swinging it well. It's 3 or 4 weeks now, back to last 22 games. He's been hitting .263. Those are his numbers for June.
Now he has been good in this month, and some good things happening. Base percentage .367 over that time. Of course, he got the base hit in his first at bat tonight as well. You know, it almost feels like it's a little bit of a reset for Rougned Odor, where he's dialing it back a little bit. And I don't mean from the aggressive standpoint, but the idea of trying to put the ball in play, trying to be a little bit more selective, trying to use the entire fielder. We have seen that over the course of the season, and the next step over time will be that power coming, right? We've been spoiled with what he has done from a power standpoint coming out of the 2nd base position over the last couple of years. But as he's trying to make some other improvements in the meantime, that means that maybe the power won't be there as much as it has been in the past. Doesn't mean he can't hit a ball to the ballpark. He certainly can. But as you're trying to work these walks and not being as aggressive on pitches on the corner, I think overall, you know, I don't want to say long term. I don't think this is something that's extremely long term, but over this process, if it continues, I think you're going to see a really good Rougned Odor on the back end of it.
Okay, so right there, another walk, right, in that 22 game stretch where we have seen him hit nearly .265. He had drawn 7 walks, so make it 8 now. That's been an improvement for him. Joey Gallo walked in his first plate appearance tonight, back in the 2nd inning. And we were talking about that when he came up, that there's no doubt that if he could just be a little more selective and less aggressive up there, that it would benefit him. 2-0. So
sure.
He's not seeing many strikes here tonight from Junis.
No. Well, and it's frustrating for Joey, because when he hits the ball, he hits it as hard as anybody. He came into tonight tied for 2nd in exit velocity in the entire game at 94.6 miles an hour. It's 2nd best in baseball for Joey Gallo. Now the question becomes for him, and that next step is getting that ball in play and hitting him hard more often.
Now 2-1 to count. Gallo with the day off yesterday, and that was a day where you say to yourself, yeah, good idea. Here's a guy who could use a day off. And so he took that yesterday and got a little mental break. So far, 1 really good plate appearance. This one so far pretty decent.
You know what's interesting too, as you mentioned, that not seeing that many strikes. Joey Gallo has the 5th lowest zone percentage, and what that means is the percentage of pitches that opposing pitchers throw in the strike zone. He sees the 5th least amount of strikes in the game. So that's going to happen to good hitters. They know how dangerous he is, and they also know that he'll chase a little bit here and there. And so that means that pitchers are very, very careful against Joey Gallo. What's interesting is the names that are on that list. Giancarlo Stanton sees the least amount of strikes in Major League Baseball. Bryce Harper, third least amount of strikes in Major League Baseball. He's scuffling right now. Nelson Cruz is fourth. I mean, these are good hitters that are in this group, and there is Joey Gallo sitting at number 5 as far as opposing pitchers, their unwillingness to give them pitches to hit.
Well, he breaks his bat here. Fly ball out to short left field. Gordon tracks it down, 2 away. And not much left on that one.
One went into pieces. Well, too, the other thing, and I could see it from Junis, because not too much of what he throws is straight. He does throw a 4-seam fastball, but he throws the 2-seam fastball as well, and the slider we talked about as well. And pitches have some life on them, even though it's not tremendously high velocity. They have some life. They have some movement.
Two outs. And Kiner Falefa at the plate. He bounced into a double play in the second. One down the middle.
So part of the game plan here for the Rangers, and this is what they have done this year against right-handed sliders. We bring that up because Junis throws a ton of sliders. We showed you where he ranks with the strikeouts, but Nomar Mazara, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, Ronald Guzman's not in there tonight, but those are the top 3 against right-handed sliders this year. Now that's something we don't see Isaiah do very often, right? Chase out of the zone like that, and that'll give you an idea how tight this slider is from the Royals right-hander. Overall, though, as a team, it's been a struggle. Just a .202 batting average against right-handed sliders this year, and 8 home runs for the Rangers as a group.
2-strike pitch, and Kiner Falefa just down that first baseline foul. 0-2. Well, his first big league start behind home plate. And he was looking forward to it, a little bit nervous. You heard Leslie talking about that earlier. Excited, maybe a bit anxious. He made 3 starts at catcher at AAA Round Rock earlier in the year, and this one out to right field ends the inning. And so it's a quiet top of the 4th, but the Rangers still lead it 2-1. Coming up for Kansas City. How about our Kubota power stats tonight? Rangers starters the last 25 games against Kansas City. Well, they've been involved in 17 decisions, 13-4 record, and a .259 ERA. 18 quality starts in the 25 starts we're talking about. So it has been a great run for Rangers starters against the Royals.
Hey, you're not kidding. That's unbelievable. I mean, thinking about those quality starts, 18 of 25 going at least 6 innings, 3 runs or less, that quality start. They've been good. There's something to be said for that. It's not like, I mean, going back 25 starts, that's got to be at least 3 years, right? You play this team 6 times, maybe 7 on the high end, so 4 years at least.
Yeah.
And they were good at the beginning of that run.
Mike Moustakas leading it off here, and he pops this one foul. The count 0-2. Bivens Dirks tonight has been pretty efficient. 35 pitches through the first 3 innings. And still 5 pitches, the longest at bat that any one Royal has been able to put on him. Mentioned earlier, it's just his 3rd start of the year, 2nd against Kansas City. And that first start, he pitched into the 7th inning. Bivens Dirks went 6 1/3 back on May 24th. That was back home at Globe Life Park. Walked 1, struck out 6. His next start came in Seattle a couple of days later, 5 days later, and then pulled back up yesterday to make this start today. The 0-2 fouled away. Moustakas giving him good battle here.
Austin looks good so far. He's doing a nice job filling up the strike zone. 74% strikes so far. About 10%, 11% above league average. Not afraid. He understands that with his stuff. Not going to overpower guys necessarily, but knows that he lives on the edges, has to live on the edges, but can't afford to get behind in the count. Be forced to throw the ball over the plate.
Foul out of play again. Now he's dealing with a very tough left-handed hitter here. Moustakas last year set the franchise record in Kansas City with his 38 home runs. Had his best slugging percentage in his career, .521. He was the comeback player of the year last year, according to Sporting News.
That was a huge year. Was he Steve Alboni, right? Had the
used to have
record,
it, yeah.
yeah.
Line drive to second base and right there for Odor. He dropped it, but able to recover and get Moustakas one away. Wednesday, June 27th. It'll be the final game of that series against the Padres on this next homestand. And it's a Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by using the old telephone 972 Rangers. Cost you a quarter. Go down to the street corner, plug it in, and
You're really dating yourself now.
when was the last time you saw a payphone?
Funny you say that. Saw one last week. Without a doubt, it didn't work, but it was there. It looked like it hadn't been touched in, I don't know, 8 to 10 years, but it was at least still there on City Street.
Was your beeper going off? Your a skeevy part of town were you in? There's a swing and a miss by Perez. 0-2.
The old beepers. Again, people are like, what? What are you talking about? I had the beeper. The second one I had was the one where, and this is when I first got to the big leagues, where someone could call, tell the operator what message you wanted, and then the message would come across your beeper. It was like a little bit of a bigger one that had a small LCD screen. Yeah, you would think that was like, that's kind of neat at the time. It was a big deal, except that so often the message was incorrect. It didn't make any sense. I don't think those operators really cared that much. I can still picture that little thing.
Wow.
The rare occasion in which I pitched a good game, I'd usually hear from some people here and there, and you know, most nights that people was really quiet.
1-2 pitch. And that's pop foul out of play. I will confess I never had a beeper.
Yeah. They're so absurd, really. Think about it now, it's hilarious.
Well, so that was, I mean, it sounds like you were really receiving the first text messages.
Kind of, yeah. It's sort of, but you had to call and give somebody that text message, and then they would
type it
in and it would come across.
Gosh, that is awesome.
Then, of course, you could do the hidden messages on the beeper, right? Just like you could on a calculator. I know you typed messages on a calculator.
On a calculator, absolutely. High pop-up. back of second base. Odor waiting. And there are 2 gone. So Austin Bibbins-Dirks working well so far tonight with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
He's doing a really nice job of keeping these Royals hitters off balance. There's been a lot of fly balls, but a lot of weak fly balls. Just a couple of balls hit on the ground so far here for Austin Bibbins-Dirks. Just 2 ground outs. But weak contact, and we've seen a lot of these Royals hitters out front trying to guess along with Austin, who does a really nice job of mixing and matching, throttling hitters, fast to slow. There's a changeup right there with good movement on the corner. It's been really good so far tonight.
Gordon had a base hit in the 2nd inning and has scored the Royals' only run so far tonight. It's 1-1. Five-time Gold Glove winner. And we saw him deliver one of his patented assists last night. He threw out a runner at the plate, Elvis Andrus, as he takes outside, 2-1. Last year, Alex Gordon had a truly awful year at the plate. In fact, the last couple of years,
I was going to say last 2 have been pretty bad. Ever since he signed that deal, and the Royals were kind of at a loss. They really didn't know. They were trying to figure it out, trying to dig in a bunch of different ways. They actually had him even hitting leadoff at one point last year. Thought maybe that would help.
Whoops, this one out into left field. Long run out there, and Chu can't get to it. Gordon goes for 2. The throw not in time. And he has a 2-out double.
This is a hustle double for Alex Gordon. I mentioned the weak contact, and here's some more weak contact on a pitch that's just off the plate. Now, he does a nice job of going with that pitch, but he just hit it in a perfect spot. And smart decision by Chu not to try to dive for that ball, and made this play close as Gordon hustles in the head first slide just ahead of the tag from Rougned Odor.
Now Hunter Dozier, who drove Gordon to the plate in the 2nd inning. Right-handed batter. And he takes strike 1. See, Austin has gotten that first pitch in there for a strike 13 out of 15 times so far. Always a real good trick for a starting pitcher, or a reliever for that matter.
Not only first pitch strikes and a lot of strikes tonight, but quality. Right, it's one thing to split the plate, and I mentioned Austin. That's something he wants to try to stay away from, but he's done an excellent job with this location. Seems locked in and comfortable here in Kansas City, taking advantage. This was something he was not anticipating. All of us expecting Mendez to make that start tonight and then change of plans as of yesterday. Hey, surprise, you're getting a big league start on pretty short notice, but Austin has shown that he's ready.
Just misses there. 2-1 to Hunter Dozier. Dozier's a Texan, and he has played well in the season series so far against the Rangers. He's now 7 for 17 with 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, and he takes a little bit low again. It's 3-1.
I think you don't give in here if you're Austin Bibbins-Dirks. Not that you're going to try to walk Dozier, but continue to kind of shoot the corners here. He had a good at-bat when he hit that double. If it doesn't work out, you start over again with Ryan Goins on deck.
A big pitch right here, and it's bounced down to third. Profar very deep. His long throw on the money, and he gets under Dozier. The inning is over.
A great job by Dirks and Profar, and a really smart decision here. He's going to get this chopper off the bat of Dozier and watch the throw in the air. Does not have time to bounce that throw. Shows off the arm a little bit. A good stretch by Joey Gallo.
Kansas City. Well, there is a lot that goes into deciding on the lineup every single night. There's also a lot that goes into writing the lineup. Just ask bench coach Don Wakamatsu, who started this a while back when he was on Buck Showalter's staff. He saw the lineup cards and calligraphy and just really liked it. So he went on YouTube to figure out how to do it. He's practiced it ever since. Can I call it pretty? Because that's exactly what it is. He said the players really like it when they make a debut or on special occasions, they'll keep it and frame it. I said, you spend so much time on it. Have you ever done one you have to rip up? He said, yes, every single day.
Every day? Oh my goodness.
Every day.
And they are gorgeous. It is really nice work. I mean, I love looking at those. I'm incredibly impressed with the work Don Wakamatsu does. Sometimes so impressive. A little tricky to look at it a little bit longer to make sure you have the name right. But that is, I mean, it looks like it's printed. It looks like it's something that is printed off of a computer. It's so perfect and meticulous. And I like it.
Yeah, I'm impressed. And you said we've seen it over the years. I mean, a lot of different guys employ the calligraphy or certain specialized fonts or writing when they make out the lineup card. There's always like one, it seems like there's always one guy on a staff who's really talented at doing that, but it is really cool.
I mean, how long do you think that takes? That's got to be 45 minutes, right?
Well, I mean, it would take me a long time.
And you don't get, you know, the lineups. Of course, you're going to know the Ranger lineup pretty early, but how quickly you get the Royals lineup. That's commitment.
Well, he said he gets faster and faster because of that problem, because they're always having to rip them up. So he has gotten better. But I love this. He said, like on Mother's Day, Father's Day, he'll save those and give them to his parents, and they love getting them. So it's really cool.
It is. It definitely is. And those are cool little keepsakes to have for players, a big moment, whatever it may be.
Carlos Tocci draws a walk to start this fifth inning.
About this trend of walks right now for the Rangers, right? Something we talk about a lot, as you see Anthony Iapoce, the hitting coach for the Texas Rangers. Now, over the last month, so that's 27 games, the Rangers have drawn now 73 walks. Would you believe that's the best in Major League Baseball, their percentage of walks per their plate appearances? They're leading baseball. Not that they're getting better, but over the last month, they have been unbelievable.
Yeah, I would believe that they lead Major League Baseball. They just because watching it lately, I feel like it's been such a big part of the story. There you go.
Yeah, that's overall. I should have clarified against starting pitchers, which is big, right? Think about trying to get those pitch counts up, and what they have done overall. They've been great in June, but getting to starting pitchers has been huge, right? We talk about that. I know there's good bullpens out there, but trying to get those pitch counts up, trying to be patient against the starter, get a good look, make him use all of his pitches early on, make those second and third time through the order at bats even tougher because you're making those starting pitchers work. So it's been a good run over the last month here for the Rangers. Those little things, it takes time when you go from a slugging team with some swing and miss, try to make those adjustments. And we talked about Joey Gallo. We've talked about Rougned Odor. This guy right here has been doing it his entire career.
Strikeout of 2. 1 away here in the 5th inning. Bring up Elvis Andrus. Yeah, of course, this run you're talking about, the Rangers drawing so many walks, also coincided with their long stretch, the longest this year in the big leagues, of their entire pitching staff, allowing or issuing 3 or fewer walks per game, which was like, where did the streak get to, like 18, 19 games or something?
Like that. It was a really good run for the Rangers and trying to flip the script on where they are. I mean, you don't look at, it's probably not a useful stat to kind of look at a plus minus as far as walks you're drawing as opposed to walks you're issuing, but I also believe something like that would have an effect on the bottom line, and a pretty significant one.
A 1 away. Andrus 0 for 1 was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. And fouls this one back our direction. Just above the home TV booth. No play.
I didn't even see Rex Hudler stand up.
Nope. There he is. He's applauding it. Those folks right there made the play. That smile's not going anywhere for a while. Elvis fights off another one. No balls, 2 strikes on Andrus. So since coming back from the disabled list, Elvis has been the 2nd place hitter all 3 games. We were talking about this the other night, about all the analytics now in Major League Baseball. It's been a handful of years now that they have said pretty clearly, put your best hitter 2nd. You know, it was long believed that you put your best hitter 3rd. And put a real high on base guy in the leadoff spot, a good bat handler 2nd, etc. Little flare out there into short right field, and Mondesi able to pull it in, 2 away. Now you put that best hitter 2nd. Hasn't worked out for Elvis so far tonight, 2 away. Hey, looking ahead, we have an off day tomorrow. It's because I told Major League Baseball, yeah, CJ's grinding a little bit. He needs a day. So they're giving you a day tomorrow. And then we've got the Twins this weekend in Minnesota, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoons before coming home for a nice long homestand.
And weird that next Thursday's off, because I didn't ask for that one. I'm not working that week. So I don't know why they would give you a day off when I'm not here.
To look into that, see what exactly is going on. Nomar Mazara, 0 for 1 with a sac fly.
But I'm going to tell you something. You're talking about 2 spot. I've been a believer in that for a long time. Maybe not best hitter, but a really great spot to put a guy maybe to get him going a little bit, non-traditional. Saw it years ago where there'd be some guys that were hitting 2nd and doing some damage or bouncing out of some slumps.
Mazara sends that one out into short right field. And a nice play by Mondesi, who's positioned perfectly to complete the inning. Rangers strand a man. Halfway there tonight. Rangers still leading the Royals 2-1. Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. Austin Bibbins-Dirks goes to work here in the 5th inning, and a fastball sails up and away on Ryan Goins. Bottom third of the order for Kansas City. Goins, Alcides Escobar, and then Mondesi. 2-1 our score. Rangers trying to sweep this series. Little slow roller first base side. Gallo, nice toss to Bibbins-Dirks, and he gets there in time to beat Goins, one away.
That's a really nice play defensively. That is not easy. We talked about this in spring training, the PFP, pitchers fielding practice, and part of this for Joey Gallo, who hasn't played a ton of first this year. Ronald Guzman getting those opportunities, is making a decision on whether or not you want to throw that ball overhand or underhand. Underhand, you got to work a little harder to get something on it, as you see Austin just get in front of Goins and beat him by about a half a step, and that throw trailed a little bit. But that's a really nice play by both of those guys.
Oh, the one gone. Escobar, right-handed hitter, takes outside for a ball. I mentioned this the other day about Escobar. Just a massive struggle at the plate. You see the average now a little over the Mendoza line at 203, but 3 hits in his last 52 at bats. Shows bunt and offers at it. It's 1-1.
Well, the struggles against righties, especially .230 on base percentage against righties. That is the worst in Major League Baseball. It has been a huge issue for him getting on base. It has been over the course of his career, but really kind of taking it to a new level in the wrong direction this season.
Has not missed a game since September of 2015. He's made every single start at shortstop.
I wonder if this will be the year that at some point, I don't know what they have in their system, if there's other shortstops at some point. I mean, they've already started to look toward next year anyway, but is there a guy that they would like to see get some reps in this season?
I mean, might you even just do it this week just to give him a break? Find somebody on the team can play shortstop.
I'm sure Merrifield could do it without a doubt.
2-2 the count. I get it. You know, you love the guy who can go out there every day for you, and he does. He plays a really good shortstop. And it probably just gets harder and harder when a guy is run up what he has run up now, 406 consecutive starts at short, to take a guy out. But
you got to produce. I mean, it's still the big leagues. And Ned Yost had talked about maybe Mondesi is a guy who will get an opportunity over there. Certainly really young, and so 22 years old for him. They got to figure out, you know, who is their either shortstop of the future, or at least who is the shortstop that you want to give an opportunity to try to be the shortstop of the future. I mean, crowning guys and giving them that title before they prove it at the big league level, I haven't been a huge fan of that. You got to get it done at the big leagues first.
3-2, and just off the plate, Escobar draws the walk. Royals have a base runner here in the 5th inning. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to John Radigan. Awfully good, those Houston Astros, and having a lot of fun these days. Helps when you have a guy like Altuve toward the top of the order, who's so good with the bat. Oh, another good pickoff throw to first base. This time he really had Escobar tangled up. Escobar with 3 steals this year, but he was shuffling all over the place.
He certainly was. Watch this. You see a little bit of a lean likely going there. I don't think that was a fake. I think he was absolutely taking off, and that was really close. I just wonder if Austin hesitated maybe another second. He was pretty quick getting over there. Maybe they get Escobar.
Another toss over.
What I like what Austin has done in these situations, the timing has been great. Not just the great footwork and the throws have been really accurate over there, but also holding the ball. You might say, well, what's the big deal? Just hold the ball. It's actually can be difficult for pitchers sometimes because everything is kind of going fast, and the idea of coming set, holding, and either throwing over or pitching is a little bit more of a skill than you might think.
Evans Turks gets a call on the edge there. Strike to Mondesi, who singled in the 3rd inning. Middle of the infield set up for the double play. You wouldn't guess this to be an easy double play. Mondesi has some wheels. Escobar can move a little bit as well.
Yeah, you need the hard hit ball somewhere right at somebody to be able to make that happen. A one hopper to Joey Gallo, step on the bag, throw to second. One of those could possibly get it done, but you're right, that would be a really tough one to turn.
Mondesi, not a lot of data so far this year. He's now just 2 for 8 on the season, and hits this ball sharply to second base. Odor to second one. Here comes a relay. In time double play. 4-6-3. Yeah. All he does is hit into double plays at Mondesi.
A ground ball anywhere would get it done, and the Rangers so good at turning those double plays. They continue number 71 on the season.
Are you kidding me? 5 home runs in the last 6 games, including this one. The game-winning home run in the 7th. Phillies continue to cruise. They're playing some good baseball. Beat St. Louis this afternoon.
Yeah, they're not going to go away. I think they're going to try to make things really interesting. And they got a tough battle in there with the Nationals and the Braves. I mean, the Braves have been an incredible story, 43-29 coming into today. Phillies are 4.5 back. Nationals 3.5 back. See it there now. The Nationals 3 back. But yeah, that'll be becoming a very interesting division. Can the Braves hang on? Can the Phillies hang in there? The Nats make any more moves? Good National League East this season. The Mets, thought the Mets would be in this thing. 8 games under 500.
Two-one pitch, and Beltre hits this one high in the air. Short right field, and everybody converging. Boy, that was scary there for a moment. But ultimately, Whit Merrifield called everybody off, and he made the play. 1 out.
Take a look at our Southwest player breakdown and get into the defensive work of Jurickson Profar, getting an opportunity at third. Made a really nice play on that line out. 101 miles an hour off the bat. And then we saw this play. This was tremendous. Backhand, really good exchange, and a long throw. And I really thought Jurickson Profar made the wise decision there to make sure that ball got there in the air. Had he gone with the long hop, which we've seen him do at times, I got to believe that Most likely that would not have been an out. You see what he's done over the course of his career, the different positions that he has played. 94 of his games at shortstop, but he has been everywhere. And I don't think we're going to see him in the outfield anymore. It's not this season. We'll see him playing a lot of third and some second base. And every once in a while, shortstop, giving Elvis Andrus a day off. Assuming everybody stays healthy, we'd likely see him at third more than anywhere else.
0-2 the count. A little more on that. Let's check in again with Leslie.
Yeah, that is the plan, not to put him in the outfield, but at those different positions. I think we'll even see him DH some. You just saw the numbers, but this is only his third start at third base this season. I talked to him about that, just all the moving around, and you know, Jurickson, big smile. This is no big deal. I just try to prepare the same way every single night. But I asked how the chemistry was with everyone, with Elvis coming back and Adrian, and the fact they're always moving around. He said, the feeling is we have Elvis back. So you can feel the energy, and everyone's just happy to do whatever they need to, guys.
That's the right attitude. That's what you want to hear. And for the modern player, this day and age, you have to have that attitude. If you believe that you deserve to only play one position, but you haven't really earned it, if you're a young player trying to work your way up, well, you're going to box yourself into a little bit of a corner. And so you got to be open-minded. The idea of playing multiple positions now more than ever, extremely important for today's big league.
Well, here is Rougned Odor. Jacob Junis hanging in there now as he works in the 6th inning and finds the inside corner for a strike. And there's 1 strike offering, fouled away. So Odor in a hole 0-2, but he has singled. He has walked tonight. Done a nice job. Rangers got their first 2 runs. Well, all their runs. 1 in the first and 1 in the second. And since the 2nd inning, Rangers have not had a base hit. Junis to the plate 0-2, and this one popped up. Third base side. Slicing foul, long run. It was a playable ball, but Goins couldn't quite get to it. Count stays 0-2.
That was a long way to go. There's a decent amount of foul territory here in Kansas City. It starts to really tighten up as you get further down the line, but you see where he is. I mean, he's essentially playing a standard shortstop position. And when you go that far and that ball's that close to the wall, I mean, he would have had to lay out to even make that close to a play. That gets pretty dangerous, and even then I don't think he could have got there.
Two-strike pitch. They want it up, and Rugi holds off. Nicely done.
Get that bat back as quickly as possible. He didn't offer. We keep talking about what Rugi is working on, the patience a little bit, and getting that 0-2 count. You're trying to protect, and not even close.
This one hit high in the air, deep to right field. Merrifield back near the wall, gone! A home run! Second of the year for Odor, and adds a big insurance run in the 6th inning.
It's a really good at-bat by Rougned Odor. He's had a couple of good at-bats, base hit, a walk, and now this one here where he got down in the count early, a quick 0-2 count, fouled off a ball, laid off one, and then got himself a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Was supposed to be down and in, ended up being a little bit more middle in, about belt high. And we've talked about this ballpark. It is not easy to drive the ball out of this ballpark, and this one continued to carry it. He hits it right into that Royals bullpen, but I believe Rougned Odor feeling pretty good about his June so far. The quality of the at-bats have been good, and as I mentioned, that power, I think we'll start to see it come back, and there's a good example of it right there.
See if Gallo can follow suit now. Two and 0 on Joey. Junis, this is his 15th start of the season. 31st overall in his career. It is the first time he's ever started against the Rangers. 25 years old, and he walks Gallo on 4 pitches. Another free pass for the Rangers. We were talking earlier about all the walks they have been able to coax out of starting pitchers, and that is 4 tonight to go along with a hit batter. Now it's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Junis, by the way, that home run that he gave up to Odor, the 19th he has allowed, and I believe that has him tied now for most in the American League with Bartolo Colon. Indeed, that is the case, and there's a strike. 1-1 to Kiner-Falefa, who is 1 on the ground, 1 in the air tonight. First big league start behind the plate for Isaiah. And he lines this one over third. That's a base hit. Gallo stops at second. The Rangers have a couple of base runners here with 2 out.
A couple of really nice at-bats, 3 in a row here, and from the young guys near the bottom of the order for the Rangers. First Odor, the home run, then the Joey Gallo 4-pitch walk, and now Isaiah Kiner-Falefa chipping in. We've seen him do really a nice job of getting the balls that are middle in. See that one hand kind of came off the bat. The Rangers are cashing this in a little bit. Check this out with Junis. First time through the order, very good at 182. OPS at 545. Second time, still a very good batting average. The OPS starts to get closer to league average, slightly above. But third time through, where we are right now, that has been a big issue for him. High batting average, high OPS, that's on base plus slugging. And right now for Carlos Tocci, he will be finishing off the final third time through here for Junis. And the Rangers did a good job when he went from Chu to Profar, but now all of a sudden bottom part of the order doing some damage third time through.
Our Southwest bullpen live look. You see the Royals get some activity out there, so could be that Junis is running up on the end of his evening. Willie Peralta looks like he was working quickly out there with some intent to get ready and get in this game. Tocci had a walk his last time, and he takes strike 1. He's walked and struck out today. One ball and 1 strike. The Rangers with single tallies now in 3 different innings. Rangers right now with the longest winning streak in Major League Baseball. The Astros lost the other day. Rangers have won 4 in a row, and Tocci pops this one up near third base, and that will end the inning, so they will have to settle for just a 1 run.
Yeah, but it was a big one. Rougned Odor getting hold of a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, driving it to right field over the fence into the Royals bullpen. In the bottom of the order, doing some damage here tonight for the Texas Rangers.
Well, you see it, a little picket fence for the Rangers. Sort of. 3-1 the score. Go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Little reminder, Saturday, June 30th, this next homestand, the White Sox will be in town. And the first 15,000 fans to the park at the Rugi and Smokey the Horse bobblehead, courtesy of Golden Chick. Not going to want to miss that one. Might start thinking about making your plans now. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Rugi and Smokey the Horse.
What day is that? I got to make sure I'm working.
Saturday. This Saturday, June
this
30th. Not this Saturday, the
Saturday.
next Saturday. Whatever. This Saturday when we're home.
Yeah.
Saturday. Fly ball out to right field. Mazzara toward the line, and that is out number 1 here in the 6th inning.
You think Tom will give me his?
No.
I think it's you and Tom working that game.
Yeah, no, Tom will definitely not
He
give
doesn't
you.
want that, does he?
Yes.
He's got grandkids.
Rugi and Smokey the Horse.
I guess I'll just take yours. Work.
Tell you what. I'll get you one.
Nice.
I'll take care of it. Herrera is 0 for 2. And the first pitch taps it foul. Marcel Herrera playing center field today. We saw him in the opening game of this series. Herrera was in right field. He did not play yesterday. Just recently called up. In fact, called up on Sunday. Taps this one by the mound towards second. Easy hop for Odor, and there are 2 away.
Well, good job by Austin so far here in the 6th inning. The Rangers get him another run, and quick 2 outs, comes up filling up the strike zone. You love to see that. You know, some people talk about that shutdown inning, whether or not they believe in it doesn't matter. I believe in it. And I got to tell you, I think most people in uniform do. There's value in every 0 that you can put up on the board, but especially after your team scores, you got the opposing pitcher on the ropes a little bit. And it's been a tight game as well. And if Austin can get through this one, post up a 0 after that Rugi home run at the top of the 6th, I got to believe Jeff Bannister will be pleased. And how about the pitch count? Here comes number 70.
Yeah.
It's been excellent for Austin.
Yeah, pretty amazing, really. He has pitched beautifully tonight. You see it by inning, the 4th inning, the toughest with 20. The longest at bat that he's had to deal with tonight was 6 pitches by this guy. Stakis, that was in the 4th inning. I think Escobar also saw 6 pitches in the 5th. But that's it. They've been really pretty efficient at bats, one after another. One. A high pop up near third base. And Profar takes care of it. So another quick inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals in the 6th. So the 7th inning on the way, and so is Shin-Soo Choo. He's already singled and scored tonight.
talking about the great work of Austin Bibbins-Dirks and getting some defensive support behind him and doing a good job himself as far as covering first base. You're going to see him a couple of times here with Joey Gallo hooking up for a couple of ground ball outs. And then the big double play, that was to end the 5th inning, the 4-6-3, the one that Dave Raymond said was impossible to turn, and there it was, easy as could be for Austin Bibbins-Dirks. 6 innings so far tonight, just the 1 earned run, no strikeouts, 1 walk, so 5 base runners for Austin over his 6 innings. Just an excellent job for him, and now it appears that the Kansas City Royals have gone to their bullpen.
Tim Hill, who threw 1 pitch the other night. He's already matched that workload here tonight. 31st game of the season for him.
Good strikeout to walk ratio, respectable batting average against for Hill. We saw him, as you mentioned, last night. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got the slider, changeup as well. Not a guy that's going to be called upon to throw a lot of pitches. His last 4 outings, you mentioned the 1 pitch, 11 pitches before that, 8 before that, and then 11 before that.
2-1 the count on Chu. Has a hit tonight in 3 tries. So Junis threw 91 pitches through his 6 innings. Austin Bibbins-Dirks is at 72 pitches through 6 innings. Royals into their pen, and this one comes way in on Chu. It's 3-1.
But the Rangers got a couple of guys going. There's Alex Claudio, and it appears maybe Jose Leclerc starting to mess with the bag inside. Ball bag and all the other pitchers' tricks. Just one, and that's where you put them.
Called strike on Chu. It's full count.
Yeah, he didn't like that one, and he's probably got a pretty good argument. Watch the glove, watch the ball. Yeah, it's definitely outside the strike zone. Fox Track says maybe not, so I think Chu would like to have a word with Fox Tracks as well.
3-2. And that is strike 3 call. Chu doesn't like it at all. Has a word for Chad Fairchild. Chu usually won't get too out of hand. It's almost as demonstrative as you'll see him, but 1 away here in the 7th inning.
I wonder over the course of Chu's career how many times you've seen him strike out looking in back-to-back at bats. That one looked even further away, and so some frustration there. Now it's a tough pickup for a lefty, the way that Hill throws a lower arm angle, comes across his body a little bit, actually quite a bit, and so Chu didn't like it and says his piece and heads back to the dugout.
With that, Elvis Andrus steps in. 0 for 2, hit by a pitch earlier. Big swing and a miss. Elvis went out on a rehab assignment after his long stint on the disabled list. He was able to get in some at bats out at AA Frisco, AAA Round Rock. Now the results were 1 for 24, but as we almost always point out, that part of it doesn't matter. We talked to him the other day about it, and he was, he was straightforward about it. He said, I'm just trying to see pitches, stand in there, track the ball a little bit, whatever. Leslie told the great story about how all the guys down there were like, dude, I thought you were coming to help us win. What's going on? And but he didn't produce big at the plate. It's not easy just to come off the disabled list and hit. And we say that because I think sometimes we have to, with what we've witnessed over the years from Adrian Beltre, who makes it look so simple. Adrian will miss a month, come back, no rehab assignment, step in the box and get 2-3 hits in that first game back.
It's incredible to watch what he can do with time off. So difficult for hitters. They try to feel the flow. They want to see the ball. They want to see multiple pitches. And Elvis, he admitted in the beginning wasn't feeling maybe exactly where he wanted to, but toward the end of that rehab assignment felt like he was seeing the ball much better, tracking it well, putting good swings together, good at bats, and that's all that really matters. Sure, you'd love to see a guy go hit 500 in the minor leagues, but the batting average means nothing. It's how he's feeling, and Elvis said he was feeling good and ready to go. It's funny that you brought up big league guys going down on rehab assignments. Of course, there's no minor league baseball essentially in September except for the postseason, and it's not an uncommon story for a guy to go down, for a team that's battled all year, finds themselves in the postseason. You got a pitcher that comes down there who's been hurt, maybe hasn't pitched in a month, whatever it may be, completely lays an egg in the minor leagues, but he's just there to get his pitches in. And it's one of those things too where, let's just say they got a guy on a rehab assignment, word comes down he's got to throw 50 pitches tonight, and he just doesn't have it. He's getting hit around. He's going to stay in there and he's going to throw his 50 pitches. That means if he lets up 8 runs, he lets up 8 runs. And the idea of costing your minor league affiliate a postseason game, at the end of the day, it's not that important. But those same jokes apply. That did to Elvis in those spots, and it has happened before. And put your whole minor league season together, and then here comes the big leaguer blowing it for you.
Now, on the other hand, he did buy them all dinner like 5 or 6 nights while he was down there.
That's way better than winning.
Yeah. He said, I didn't get him every night, but I got him most nights. Grounds out to short here, 2 away.
Well, that's a must. You got to do it as a big leaguer when you go down for a rehab. If you, for some reason, made the bad decision not to buy the minor league crew dinner, well, that'll get back to the big league clubhouse, and that will show up in kangaroo court. And that will cost you some significant dollars.
Well, good at bat there. Saw 9 pitches, but unable to produce a hit. And now Nomar Mazara, who also has gone without a hit in this one tonight after 3 hits Monday, 3 hits yesterday. He's been on a real hot streak. Now, he did drive in a run with a sac fly in the first. So the left-hander, Tim Hill, sees another lefty here. And Mazara lines it into center field, base hit. So the first pitch, and he comes up with a base hit. Another great job by the Big Chill. Rangers have a man on here in the 7th inning.
I don't think you can overstate what a quality at bat this is. You say, well, it's only 1 pitch. Well, you get a sidearm lefty, very difficult. Put a fastball on the corner and maybe even off the plate a little bit. You get Nomar Mazara not trying to do too much. That good level swing and just lining that ball into center field against a really tough lefty who's been very good against left-handed hitters this year.
Well, Hill is done with the right-hander Beltre coming on. Willie Peralta comes out of the pen for Kansas City. Buick dealer. And by Budweiser. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you. Adrian Beltre stepping to the plate here in the 7th inning with a runner on base. And Willie Peralta checking in here.
And we saw that first game for Peralta back in the big leagues. You see the repertoire, slider, fastball, sinker, and changeup for him. Good fastball, high velocity. Doesn't necessarily get the high strikeouts with it over the course of his career. Of course, mostly a starter at the big league level. I kind of wonder if they think they would see maybe a tick up in that velocity, which is already really good. Anytime you take a starter, put him in the bullpen, take a guy that hit 95 miles an hour, could you see 97, 98, a little bit of a higher average fastball velocity as a reliever?
One strike pitch to Beltre, and he swings through it. Adrian's 0 for 3 so far tonight with a strikeout coming back in the third. Man on, that's Nomar Mazara at first after his 7th hit in this series. Peralta comes to the plate 0-2. Adrian now 1 for his last 14 on a span of 4 games. So the average has dropped a little bit on Beltre. Before that little swoon started, he was hitting 329. Comes up empty here, strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. Rangers leave a man in the 7th inning. They stand and stretch here in Kansas City, but the Rangers leading it 3-1.
Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
3-1, Rangers lead. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Kansas City. Final game of this series. Rangers trying to sweep the Royals. Salvador Perez, first pitch swinging. Fly ball out to Carlos Tocci. And there's 1 out in the 7th. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's welcome in again John Radigan. All right, thanks, Rads. Well, the Twins, middle of the pack in the Central Division. 5 games under 500, though. Really kind of an underwhelming division right now in the Central. Although Cleveland at least is showing some life again, back to 7 games over 500.
You'd imagine for a while there they were right at 500, even a game under, leading the division. It's really looking pretty brutal, but they're starting to get it together, and they're a team that probably should beat up on the rest of the American League Central and win that division pretty easily.
Alex Gordon base hit in the 2nd inning and scored the only run so far tonight for Kansas City. Then he doubled in the 4th. 2-strike pitch. Not taking the bait there.
You were talking about this earlier with Austin Bibbins. Dirks continues to pound the strike zone, but doing it early. 19 now of 23 first pitch strikes for the Rangers right-hander. I really like that pitch a lot to Salvador Perez. Third at bat, you know he's aggressive. He puts that slider just off the plate a couple of inches. That is the perfect pitch to him, right on right.
This is badly there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Better off not putting a pitch in the zone against Carlos Perez and still have a chance to get ahead. The reality is he goes hacking, and he does it early. Really good execution here in the 7th inning. But this is his nemesis tonight. This is the one he's got to get. Alex Gordon.
To head 0-2. This one bounced to second base, and Odor right there for the routine play. 2 gone now in the 7th inning.
A really good job. Mentioned Alex Gordon has had a couple of good swings. Now the double he had wasn't hit hard, but it was still a pretty good at bat. And this is good pitch location, good movement. Ball's got some downward action, 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Austin Bibbins Dirks continuing to pitch to contact. 6 2/3, no strikeouts.
How about this? You know, he's 1 out away from going the full 7 innings here. Dozier takes a little bit in. This is the 9th career start for Austin Bibbins Dirks. It would be the 3rd time in his career that he's gone 7 innings, which is a career high for him. Last did it last year in June at New York against the Yankees. A little tight 2-0. Be a full 1/3 of his big league starts, in which he has gone 7 innings. If he can get there tonight, needs 1 more. Only at 80 pitches for the night. He's worked well with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I asked Austin earlier today about working with Kiner-Falefa. He said, yeah, I think he caught me maybe in spring training once. I said, does it matter? He said, no, it really doesn't matter. Bouncer left side profile. Pulls Gallo off the bag. So Dozier is on.
And Joey tried to get that tag down in time, but unfortunately could not get Dozier as he just beat it out. And that was the throw that took him away. Check it out here. Just a weak ground ball. A couple of hopper. Jerks and profile. A little pat of the glove. He threw the ball on the run and he threw it high. And that unfortunately is what caused Dozier the ability to get on. He had the option to set his feet if he wanted to, but he certainly could make that throw.
Or that a hit.
Absurdly, that is ruled a hit.
I mean, what?
The only reason he is safe is because the throw was high.
Yeah.
Oh, and this kind of stinks. And for me, I kind of felt like it was hitter by hitter for ABD at this point. Remember, we ran into a little bit of trouble pitching into the 7th inning last time, and I just think the idea of giving him a chance. I'm not a believer in always trying to win the game for the pitcher, but the idea of giving him a chance to win this game, not face the tying run, I think is probably what Banny is thinking right now.
Well, what a job tonight for Austin Bibbins Dirks. He leaves on top 3-1. And the Rangers and Dr. Pepper are teaming up to bring you savings at the ballpark all season long. Bring a Dr. Pepper can into the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper. Get your tickets starting at just $11. For June 25th through June 27th, that 3-game series against the Padres, go to TexasRangers.com/specials. Alex Claudio is the new pitcher here in this 7th inning.
And there's that arsenal for Alex, the fastball changeup slider combination that has been so effective for him over these last couple of seasons.
Little tapper on the first pitch, right back to the mound. Claudio grabs it, and just like that, the inning is done. All it took was one more pitch. Claudio retires Goins, and we go to the 8th with the Rangers on top by 2. As we look ahead, tomorrow is an off day, but then back to action Friday in Minnesota. Mike Minor will make the start for the Rangers. You see those numbers there, 11 games against the Twins, all of those games in relief. It will be his first start against the Twins. And Fernando Romero has done quite well in his 4 home starts this year at Target Field. 2-0 record. He'll have the ball for the Twins. Should be fun to get it started. The only night game while we're up in Minnesota this week. Justin Grimm on here in the 8th inning for Kansas City.
You see the numbers there for the right-hander. 14th game of the season for Grimm. 93-mile-an-hour fastball is averaged this year. He's got a slider curveball as well. Not surprising to see the rough year that he has had. The thing that really sticks out, and there were a couple of things here, but the walk rate, 8.4 per 9 innings. Not sustainable for Justin Grimm as he's trying to figure that out, get the strike zone a little bit more, and he has struggled against lefties. 444 batting average against, so an opportunity here for Jurickson Profar.
Profar, a little tapper left side. Grimm able to get off the mound and make the play. 1 out in the 8th inning. We'll get a jump on your Independence Day celebration this year. July 3rd, that's the day before the big one there, CJ. It's a 7:05 game, Astros and Rangers. And we're going to have post-game fireworks presented by T-Mobile. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. It's like 4th of July Eve.
Makes sense.
Great.
Exciting. So here's what I wanted to get to, and really hoping that Austin Bivens-Dirks was able to finish that 7th inning. This season, I don't know how many games have been played so far. I guess we could add them up. A lot.
Yeah.
There has not been an outing of 7 innings and no strikeouts by any starting pitcher this year. Austin got really close, and I don't say that as a bad thing. He pitched incredible today. Really good example of what you can do when you pitch to contact, keep guys off balance, work the corners, induce a lot of fly balls that we saw that were off the end of the bat. He was really good, but I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it the first time this year. A little ad there for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's first start behind the plate. And you're probably thinking, well, sure, nobody's done it 6 2/3 with no strikeouts. Somebody has done it.
What?
Yeah. Ronaldo Lopez. Chicago White Sox through 6 2/3. Back on May 3rd. No strikeouts. So we need the sad trombone drop.
Fly ball, center field. Hanging up a little bit there, but Herrera able to get underneath it. 2 out here in the 8th inning. So who did he do that against?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Was it the Royals?
No, the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, hey, look at that. Okay.
So I don't look at it as a positive, because now it's been the Twins and the Royals, the 2 teams that went up against the starter 6 2/3 and did not strike out. But he let up 5 runs.
Ooh.
Where ABD only let up 1.
Bivens Turk's really nice job today. Just enough run support as well. Joey Gallo, big rip right there. That's strike 1. Joey, couple of walks today to go with his fly out. Gallo batting 7th. Looks like they want it up and away, and this one comes way inside. 1-1. That might be one of the reasons right there. You know, you hear some hitters say it from time to time that I didn't want the signs. I didn't want the middle infielder or anybody telling me what was coming next, because they weren't sure whether they could trust that guy to get it right. And let's face it, you know, pitchers don't always execute what they intend. And that was a good example in that previous pitch.
I think you bring up a really good point. It should be somewhat pitcher dependent as well, right? If you got a guy that you know hits spots regularly, he's got your numbers, made you uncomfortable, mixing and matching, whatever it may be, tips like what might be coming or location could be hugely helpful. Got a guy with a live arm who maybe doesn't hit spots as well. You probably want to throw that out the window. You don't be sitting there looking outer third and all of a sudden he accidentally throws 96 right on the corner, or even up and in. You don't get out of the way because you're leaning out over the plate. I think it's a fair point. And then you got to figure out whether or not you trust your teammate.
No.
Seen you around the clubhouse. I've seen mistakes you made. I don't know if I believe you're paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Gallo walks for the 3rd time tonight. So nicely done by Joey Gallo. For a little more on that, let's check in again with Leslie.
Well, guys, drawing walks is something this coaching staff has really been harping on with the team all year, and they're starting to figure it out. And one reason Jeff Bannister said is they've showed the guys the numbers and the production. And again, I mean, as the months have gone on, they've gotten better and better. Look at that. In June, in all of Major League Baseball, they are first for plate appearance per walk. So they're just doing better at taking those freebies. Guys aren't chasing as much, and they're putting more stress on the pitchers.
That's fantastic. And I think it's a point of pride for the coaching staff to, you know, you can tell guys something all day long, but to see them start to actually put that into practice and get results. I mean, Joey Gallo's a great example. And who would have thunk it that Joey Gallo goes out and walks in 3 of his 4 at-bats. Chu no walks tonight with a couple of strikeouts in his 4 at-bats. Of course, he got to hit his first at-bat, but you just never know. And Chu, of course, has been so great with the plate discipline and the guy you would expect to have those walks. And Joey certainly can draw his share of walks as well. Guys have done an excellent job, and I think for the coaching staff, you put in a lot of time in, you work, and they know how hard this game is to go out there and actually be confident enough to execute a game plan, to be a little bit more patient, to trust yourself, and that's what you have to do in order to draw a walk. You just don't go from being a big pull power slugger to all of a sudden becoming a guy who walks a lot overnight. You got to trust that a little bit, because nobody wants to take that pitch for a strike that they believe they can hit out of the ballpark.
For Gallo, that's the 5th game in his career in which he has drawn 3 walks. So good job tonight. It extends this inning for Kiner Falefa, who had a base hit his last time up in the 6th inning.
So between Joey and Rougned Odor tonight, 8 plate appearances.
Joey
2
running
for 4.
Pitches outside, and Gallo is in there. Stolen base for Gallo, his 3rd of the season.
Not an easy thing to do against Perez. Of course, a lot of times we talk about it's off the pitcher as well, but that's the 2nd stolen base for the Rangers tonight against Salvador Perez. And Joey's sneaky. He's got really good speed. And he's been very efficient when he has gone. Hasn't gone very often, but when he does, been very successful.
Two. We'll do it again.
That's a great time to go. 2 outs. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa up. Worst case scenario, you have him leading off the 9th inning. It's a good time to take a chance. Calculated one by the Rangers. As I was mentioning, the 4 plate appearances tonight for Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor have been really good. 4 walks in there. They're 2 for 4 with a home run and a run scored.
Kiner-Falefa strikes out, and that ends the Rangers' threat in the 8th inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th with the Rangers leading 3-1. One Rangers app, customize your experience and take advantage of great features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, stats, news, and a whole lot more. Download MLB at Bat today. Jose Leclerc has come on in this 8th inning for the Rangers. Claudio, just a 1-pitch outing for him.
So interesting to see Escobar in the lineup tonight. You and I were talking about it earlier. Now there's some speculation that this streak could be coming to an end very soon for Alcides Escobar. There was actually a column that mentioned some quotes from Ned Yost that there was the possibility he was not going to start in this series.
Yeah, Hud came over here between innings randomly. Rex Hudler, color announcer for the Royals. You were off probably getting your 3rd iced coffee or something of the night.
And went in the hallway to sign some autographs.
Oh, okay, there it is. There's Huddy. Anyway, I asked him the question. He said, yeah. It's on the way. He's going to center field.
Really?
Yeah, and they're looking at probably 3 games a week for Mondesi at shortstop. Of course, for me, it's not so much the playing short. It's give the guy a day off.
Yeah.
He's struggling so badly at the plate. 2-2.
Because the defense hasn't been an issue, at least for me, from what I've seen. That's not really what has stuck out. It's just some of the struggles at the plate. Rex Hudler is the absolute best, the most fun to talk to, I think. Well, without a doubt, the highest energy of any other broadcaster in the game.
So you told me a funny story
yesterday. So he came to me yesterday. He said, always talking about your team, giving little tidbits. He said, tell me about what's going on with Cole Hamels here lately. I said, I said the cutter man has really been good for him this year. Backdoor, buried down and into righties. He goes, oh man, the cutter man. I never liked when guys throw me cutters. He goes, I tried to go to the plate and my bats would be like, no, don't take me. Leave me here. That is exactly how he told me the story. He is the best, man. Full of energy, and just off the top of his head, that his bats would tell him, no, I don't want to hit against anybody's cutter. Please, I want to still live. Leave me in the dugout.
He is the best.
Surprised he's actually sitting down. That's
I know.
a calm moment for him.
Well, it's been a tough stretch for these Kansas City Royals. They've lost 8 in a row, in danger of losing 9 straight. A high pop foul back out of play by Escobar. They've lost 14 of their last 15 games. That, whatever. I mean, you could just keep going down all the crazy numbers. It's been a real struggle, and the fact that, I mean, he still looked real energetic and everything over there, but that he was sitting down. You're right. It's
still moving the ball
uncommon.
around. You know, not like his hands were still.
3-2 from Leclerc. Good fastball.
Oh,
Oh, strike
yeah,
3 called. Escobar might get an early exit. And he does. Good night.
That was a really good pitch by Jose Leclerc. Probably borderline, understanding that Escobar at least wants to have an argument about it. And you see, good look at the Fox tracks as far as where Jose was working that entire at bat, and right on the corner. Escobar thought it was ball 4. Slamming down your bat, that's always going to cost you. But, you know, Chad Fairchild was pretty fair there, pun intended, that he gave him an opportunity to at least pick up his bat. Escobar wasn't interested, and so because of that, because he kept talking and yelling and probably not saying nice things, was ejected.
And a couple of moments tonight where Fairchild has given guys just a, you know, an extra half second to a second, finish up whatever it was, and then move on. Where other umpires sometimes will bait dudes or go after him and thumb them right away.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's been a little more patient.
It's not just a name.
It's the umpire supervisor picking up on the crowd back there.
First strikeout of the night for the Royals, right? That was what we were talking about a little bit earlier. ABD, Austin Bibbins-Dirks, just 1 out away from going 7 innings without striking out a hitter. We had not seen that all year in Major League Baseball.
Well, Tapper back to the mound. Leclerc right there. Wants to hustle it a little bit. Gets Mondesi, and there are 2 out. Time for a word from our friends at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Well, Leclerc gets the first 2 batters he faces here in the 8th inning, and now the leadoff man, Whit Merrifield, who is 0 for 3, comes to the plate. Royals 1 run on 5 hits tonight. Rangers trying to make it 5 straight wins, and we talked about it earlier. You know, it's come at the right time that they have played Kansas City, bringing a couple of wins into this series, but they have loved playing Kansas City now for the span of a couple of years.
Good fastball from Leclerc. You know, as much as we talk about the changeup and the cut changeup that he uses, he's got good velocity on the fastball. That one at 95, right down the middle.
Ball and a strike, and that one floats in. 2-1. Well, Austin Bibbins-Dirks, 6 2/3 innings. Alex Claudio came in and on 1 pitch got Ryan Goins to end last inning, and now Jose Leclerc. By the way, kind of an interesting test for a rookie catcher, Kiner Falefa today, and a little bit low. 3-1. Talking about the success the Rangers have had against Kansas City. 16-3 over the last 19 games. And just pounded the ball. And the amazing thing to me is they've allowed 4 or more runs just twice. And there's a strike, and it's a full count on Merrifield.
They've been locked in, no 2 ways about it. Comfortable here against this Royals lineup, and good time. We mentioned that, winning those last 2 games at home against the Rockies, winning that series and then looking at kind of what the schedule presented, I got to believe for the Rangers, happy to see the Royals on the schedule, and Twins playing some decent baseball right now, but an opportunity to put together a good stretch of W's and kind of start to turn this season around a little bit. So a good place certainly for the Rangers to come visit here at Kauffman Stadium against these Royals. I'll say this too about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. The fact that he hasn't been noticed is a good thing.
Yeah, we haven't really talked a whole lot about him since the hyphens. Here's a good fastball. Oh, just missed. Whoa.
Pretty close to the same spot that he threw to Escobar. And I think Merrifield was having a little bit of an issue picking up the fastball anyway. You see the two that were up in the zone. He took those for strikes. That one maybe just a little bit lower, not much. I'd say that was a fair call. Never ends here on Fox Sports Southwest.
Really locked in tonight. Or it's further evidence that you need a day off tomorrow.
Dad jokes for days.
Strike to Herrera. Sel Herrera 0 for 3. Couple of ground outs, one fly out to center. And this ball rolled slowly up the middle. Odor, nice shovel to second base. They force out Merrifield, and the inning is done. So we go to the last inning. The Rangers leading 3-1.
And it was a really good night for Austin Bivens-Dirks, making pitches the entire night, staying out of the middle of the plate, doing a nice job of fielding his own position, covering first base a couple of times, inducing weak contact. It was a lot of fun to watch Austin throw the ball tonight, just keeping these Royals hitters off balance, making big pitches when he had to, and there really weren't too many opportunities where he had to dig himself out of a hole. He cruised for most of the night at 6 2/3 when it was all said and done. For the Rangers right-hander. No strikeouts for ABD, but just the one walk and the one run, and a night in which he can hold his head up high. He was very good here for Jeff Bannister. And now Kevin McCarthy, the right-hander, coming out of the Royals bullpen, game number 28. 19 strikeouts in 30 1/3, so not a big strikeout rate for McCarthy this season. He's got a two-seam fastball. Sits at 92 miles an hour, and a pitch that he uses often. And McCarthy, a guy that has an excellent ground ball rate. That's the name of the game. 61% ground ball rate this year.
It was 1-0 to Toji, and good pitch. Evens account at 1-1. A couple of defensive changes for the Royals. Mondesi moves over to shortstop, and you saw Merrifield now at second base. Almonte, first guy you saw there, now the new right fielder. Tochi had the walk earlier. A day off for Delano to Shields, and there were some questions before the game about that. Was, you know, Delano tired? He banged into too many outfield walls. What's going on? And Jeff Bannister was quick to say, no, not tired, not injured, nothing, just a day off. Suspect an opportunity there to get Delano, you know, back-to-back days with the off day tomorrow and have him fresh and ready to go when we get to Minnesota. That'll be fun. A couple of star-studded, very fleet-footed outfielders in that series, with Delano in center for the Rangers. Maybe the fastest in baseball. And Tochi walks for a second time tonight. How about that?
I was talking about the good at-bats that Odor and Joey Gallo have put together, but a couple of nice ones here for Carlos Tochi as well, as the bottom of the order has really produced tonight for the Rangers.
Yeah, a lot of base runners, and now back up top for Chu, who has had a relatively tame night, 1 for 4. Fortunately, when we go to Minnesota, Byron Buxton, who has been on a rehab assignment or recently started his rehab assignment, not likely to be a part of that series. Otherwise, you'd have a pretty good contest going.
Sure.
With those two guys. 1 strike pitch, and Chu takes low.
I kind of like giving Delano the night off. You mentioned the double days off essentially because of that off day built in there and giving him a little bit of a breather. I didn't look at Junis as a great matchup for him. Delano's been very good on pitches middle in this year. He struggled a little bit on that right-handed slider that goes out of the zone. That's a pitch that Junis uses often. We highlighted that throughout the game, so I think the timing was just right.
Bouncer up the middle, cut off nicely by Mondesi, and he throws out Chu. 1 away, but Tochi now out there in scoring position. Well, activity in the Rangers bullpen, and it is not Keone Kela getting ready for the 9th inning. Jake Diekman, who has really been locked in lately, looks like he is preparing to close this one off in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, Diekman has been really good. Now, this will be, assuming he comes in the game, 3 in a row for Diekman, but also for Kela. He has pitched in 3 of the last 4, and so for Jeff Bannister not wanting to go 4 out of 5 for Kela, who you know wants to be in there. And as much as we say things like the win doesn't have as much value, does the save really have as much value? Pitchers want them, and Kela would certainly like to be in there for the save opportunity. He has been perfect in those spots this season, but it is the smart move. Totally understand that you can't ever get upset with a manager for wanting to take care of his guys, protect them a little bit. See Ricky Rodriguez there on the right. We'll see him make his 2018 debut sooner or later. Activated a couple of days ago. I should say recalled a couple of days ago.
Foul ball by Andrus. 0-1. Elvis hitless again tonight. Be nice to see him get 1 hit in this series. Oh, positive note going into the weekend in Minnesota. Fouls that one away. 0-2.
I'll say this, even though if the hit's not there for Elvis so far, the quality of bats I think have been pretty good. He doesn't look overmatched. He doesn't look uncomfortable. Looks like the same old Elvis, same good swing. Not too worried about him. Those numbers will certainly be there. He'll get on a roll here pretty soon.
Fighting off McCarthy. Stay 0-2. Waiting on deck, Nomar Mazara. 9th inning with the Rangers up by 2. This ball out to right field. Almonte just came in. Ooh. Oh, tough time finding the right angle on that one, but he does make the play, and there are 2 away. Well, tonight's crowd, a little under 20,000, 19,489, the paid attendance here. Was a pretty evening, 83 degrees at game time. Comfortable night. And these fans are very good here in Kansas City, very supportive of this team, and they're still probably riding a little bit of fumes off those World Series appearances. But those might start to die off a little bit, the way this team has played lately. Fans are going to need to see a little something more in the near future. And of course, just the other day, I guess it was Monday night, when we found out right as the game was going that Kelvin Herrera had been traded. So they're already starting to reshape things.
This fan base has been through it before. They know that if you do it right, what could happen ultimately, World Series championship. And they did it well. But even when they turned the corner and started coming out of the rebuild, a lot of people were a little suspicious of some of the moves, right? When they traded Will Myers, James Shields at the time, people, no, he's one of the prospects. He's part of the future. What are you doing? But that was the time that Dayton Moore and company really wanted to send that message, not just to the fan base, but more importantly to the clubhouse. That the time is now, the culture is about to change, and go to Game 7 in 2014 and then ultimately win the whole thing in 2015. I thought that was kind of the watershed moment for the Kansas City Royals. They had been stockpiling high draft picks and a lot of young players, and that process had gone a little slow. Mike Moustakas at the beginning of his career wasn't living up to expectations. Alex Gordon was not. Eric Hosmer, they eventually all got it going, and then when they realized it was about time to compete, they made a big move and traded for a veteran pitcher, and they got hammered for it in the national media. But ultimately the Royals got the last laugh.
Well, Dayton Moore, their general manager, this is 12th full season in that role. He's a real, I mean, obviously a proven one with what he has done. Of course, had some time in Atlanta as well, and one of the really good guys in the game. And I think they feel pretty comfortable around town here that they've got the right man in charge in that regard. I think it'll be real interesting. Tough challenge. There's Dayton in the middle. 3-1 pitch, and there's a swing and a miss.
And you're right. A lot of times for veteran players, they'll have conversations about whether or not they want to come to an organization, and they'll ask about the general manager and the front office, and is he a character guy? Is he somebody that I can trust? If he tells me something, can I believe it? And Dayton Moore absolutely has that reputation around the league.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Tochi out at second. Rangers leading by 2, and the pitch on the way to Mazzara. Whoa, up and in, and that is ball 4, so he walks. Second walk of the inning issued by McCarthy, and it gets Adrian Beltre to the plate. Adrian 0 for 4.
Picking up on your sarcasm.
Two outs, 2 men on. Beltre takes a little bit in. 1-1. So tonight was a special night. Austin Bibbins Dirks and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa making a little history, and that went very well. Also a special night for our crew. One of the best EBS operators in the business works for us here at Fox Sports Southwest. Kelly Donaldson, he and his wife Jen celebrating their 20th anniversary tonight. Of course, Kelly doing that by working tonight. Little ground out ends the inning.
He's a gamer.
And down to the bottom of the 9th inning, Jake Diekman trying to earn the save. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Should be a fun one tonight, too. Thank you, John. As we go to the bottom of the 9th inning here. Ronald Guzman takes over at first base. And Jake Diekman takes over on the mound.
There's that pitch arsenal for Jake this year. 61% fastballs, good velocity, 94 miles an hour. And the slider has been sitting at 82. And it has been a devastating pitch this season for Jake. Has been really for the last couple of seasons. Used it so well, and he'll get an opportunity here to close out this one and going for his second save this season for the Rangers. He's got 6 in his career, and all of them came in a Texas Rangers uniform the 4 years that he spent in Philadelphia. No saves for Jake Diekman.
2-1 the count.
So we mentioned Kella and how this would have been 4 out of 5, and so Jeff Bannister gave him the night off. This is 3 in a row for Jake Diekman. He threw 13 pitches in game 2, 15 in game 1. Certainly a manageable pitch count, but it's not always about the pitch count for the relievers. It's the up and down, the multiple days, and it comes with the territory as far as pitching in back-to-back games. We'll make it back-to-back-to-back for Diekman.
Stakis looks this one high in the air, deep to right field. Mazzara is back, and he has no chance to get to that one. 14th home run of the year for Michael Stakis. And he makes it a 1-run game.
th of the year, but just his 3rd against left-handed pitching. And you see the down and away location, and the slider actually finished in, and Diekman knew it right away as soon as Moustakas hit it. He was trying to sweep that breaking ball. Instead, it stayed on the inner half.
It's just the 6th run that the Royals have scored in this series. But it cuts it to a 1-run lead now on the 9th. Diekman's 1-0 to Salvador Perez, and he fouls that one straight down in the dirt. Perez is lined out, popped up, and flew out to center field in the 7th inning. 2-2 the count. Well, this is not a great home run ballpark. Generally speaking, pretty friendly to pitchers, and we've seen some good pitching in this series. One, two, and that's off the plate. Perez does have 11 home runs this year. A home run just a moment ago by Moustakas went 422 feet.
It's the first home run that Diekman has allowed on a slider since 2015. None this year, none last year, none the year before. Of course, we know we didn't pitch a ton last year, but it's been a while since someone has taken that slider out of the ballpark.
Stays 2-2. So Bibbins Dirks 6 2/3 innings tonight. Claudio and Leclerc an inning and a third back of him. It's in the hands of Jake Diekman. Fourth pitcher of the night. And this one over shortstop out into left field, drops in, base hit, and the Royals have the potential tying run on base.
Now, wasn't hit very hard by Salvador Perez, but he did what he had to do. This is a good pitch below the zone, slider down. Perez just kind of throws that bat out there, catches it off the end a little bit, and just a softly hit single into left field.
It's like Matt Moore getting ready out in the bullpen. Alex Gordon. He's had a good night tonight. And he takes a fastball for strike one. Gordon single, a double, a run scored.
So Matt Moore sat down. Tony Barnett got up, and he is, nope, that's Jesse Chavez, and he is trying to get up in a hurry. Matt Moore probably in that situation getting some work in. Just trying to stay sharp. He hasn't pitched since June 15th, so KC is needed. Jesse Chavez will be called upon.
Well, the question was asked, was Moore considered for today's start? Earlier this afternoon, Jeff Bannister said, yeah, not really, right? I mean, we really liked what he did in the bullpen and the progress we're seeing there, and we think there might be more to see, more to learn there, more development for him. So we're going to stick with that. And then he pointed out, he said that, you know, having him in that bullpen kind of loosens up how Manny can use Jesse Chavez. He says, I can use him now in higher leverage spots late in games and not have to worry about saving him just in case it gets long. So, you know, tonight might be a perfect example of that, as Gordon swings and misses. And that is the first out of the ninth inning. A strikeout for Diekman, one away.
That's the good slider from Jake Diekman. That's where he wanted to throw the 1-2. Mike Moustakas. Watch where this ball finishes. Down and away against the lefty. So devastating.
So here's a question for you. One out now, ninth inning, and we saw the home run by Moustakas. Salvador Perez had the base hit, but maybe would you run for Salvador Perez?
I thought so. I was actually surprised that he was not pinch run for right away. Now, as far as what you have left on the bench, Almonte has come in already, right? So you have Orlando or Butera. I mean, I would assume that Orlando is a better runner. Which everybody, I think, is a better runner than Salvador Perez. Not known for his speed, so.
I maybe missed Rod Dyson just a little bit here.
Unless, I mean, I don't know, you're thinking about Orlando as the pinch hitter. If they wanted one here, maybe for Owens, I don't know. I guess that's a decision you're left with if you're Ned Yost.
1-2 the count on Hunter Dozier. Dozier from Argyle, just a little north of Arlington and Globe Life Park. Bouncer, third base. Profar has it to second one. The relay won't be in time. Tough play. The ball got to Odor just a little late. But they force out Perez. Dozier is on with 2 out.
Yeah, this was the ground ball that Jake Diekman was looking for, and you'll see Jurickson Profar a little bit high on the throw. And what an effort by Rougned Odor to see if he could make something happen. Throw went a little bit high, so Rugi knew, and he knew as far as the runner and how quickly he had to try to get rid of that ball. Really not much of a chance to be able to turn. I don't even know if a perfect throw would have got him.
So Goins will bat here, and he takes a strike from Diekman. So they go lefty on lefty.
What am I missing here?
I don't know. I'm a little confused. Oh, and 2 the count.
Goins is hitting just 167 against lefties. I know Diekman's numbers are a little bit off this year in that regard as far as what he has done against lefties. A higher batting average at 290, but he's still, you saw what he did to Alex Gordon. Still very good against tough lefties.
Runner goes, throw down to second base, and they got him! Are you
Isaiah!
kidding me? Isaiah Kiner-Falefa throws out the first base runner in his big league career, and it ends the game.
And Jake Diekman almost got hit in the face with that ball.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. I don't think he realized the runner was going. A big smile from Isaiah, not so much from Jake Diekman. Watch this throw right here. He kind of put his head down, didn't realize that the runner was going. Nice job there to be able to pick it, get the tag down, and end this game. And what a moment for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Talked about how fun it was for him to throw a runner out. It's okay to smile. You did it. Fantastic. What a way to end the game. Jake Diekman.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, he just maybe a couple extra heartbeats right there, a little faster than expected, but whatever it takes, the Rangers get it done, and Isaiah still smiling and understanding.